Hey family, Pastor Bob here with your daily briefing for Thursday, March 19th. How are you? Hope you're well. Let me start with a snapshot of current reality. 23 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Douglas County right now, 29 in the state of Nebraska, 7,000 in the US, with about 97 confirmed deaths countrywide, nationwide right now. Again, concerning, but remember, we've been through things like this before, so just want to keep that snapshot before you. The place of major concern nationally right now is New York City. New York City has seen a spike in cases over the last 24 hours. And so since that's where a lot of our media attention is focused, you'll be hearing a lot about what's going on in New York. Again, try to keep in perspective, Omaha is not New York. We do care about what's going on there, but our local response is going to feel different and look different because Omaha is not nearly as dense a place, nor is the outbreak here as acute as it is right now in New York. A little perspective that hopefully will be hopeful for you. On January 23rd is the day when China implemented really strict social distancing measures in Wuhan and in Hubei province, where this all originated. The good news is yesterday, Wuhan reported no new domestic cases of COVID-19. So in 8 weeks, it's gone from a major flashpoint to things are now back to normal, at least for now. And so they're starting to ease those social restrictions. People are moving about again. Schools are opening up. That's good news for you and me, because what it means is we've got a few weeks of this ahead of us. But again, if we're faithful to the measures we're taking, we're going to see change and things are going to open back up. So be encouraged. We're going to hunker down for a few weeks, but there's hope on the horizon if we're faithful to the measures that we're practicing. Again, take it with a grain of salt because it is China and they do have a totalitarian government, and sometimes we can't always trust the information that we're getting. There's also been concerning reports that China actually covered up this virus in the very beginning. So, we have to take everything we hear with a grain of salt, but what we're hearing from China is good news in terms of no new domestic cases of COVID-19 yesterday, and that's hopeful for sort of globally what we can expect. So, I want you to know I did speak on the phone yesterday with our city council member, Brinker Harding. He did assure me that should we see a tapering off of the virus locally, the city leaders will move to release some of those restrictions. And so I'm hopeful that even though the county health director said, hey, until April 30th, no gatherings of 10 people or more, I'm hopeful that in the next few weeks, if we see the right things happening, that we'll see some of those restrictions lifted sooner. That's my greatest concern pastorally right now, is the economic and social toll that this is going to take on our city and on our church family. We don't want to downplay the medical effects, but right now, I think the broad effects in our city are more concerning as far as how this is affecting businesses and everyday people. So let me tell you a couple stories just to give you some hope of how we can minister as God's people in this moment. Heard a story of a couple in our church yesterday who lives in a place that's a little more rural, kind of on the outskirts of the city. A lot of their neighbors are elderly, and so they just went around to every neighbor and said, hey, we're running to the store, what can we get for you? And so really simple way to serve their neighbors and try to take care of them in this moment. For us personally, my family, my wife works a part-time job at a small business, and they're probably going to shut down for a couple weeks. The business will be great in the long term because it's not a business that's going to be dramatically affected in the next 2 weeks, but they are going to close their doors for a few weeks. And so they had reached out to my wife and said, hey, we'll keep paying you if we can. And we were at a place where we chose to say, hey, you know what? We don't really need that income in order to survive the next few weeks, so let's just forego that and invite them to give it to someone else who needs it. And so that's what we've done as a family. Again, we're in a place where we can make that choice. Some of you may not be. So I just want to encourage you that little things like that, how do we care for our neighbors? How do we try to economically think about the people around us? How do we try to make sure that as much as we can, we're taking care of the people around us? These are the simple ways we can continue to help. Don't get overwhelmed with the massiveness, the globalness, the sort of bigness of things. Try to think about who's God placed in your life, who are the people right around you that you can serve and care for right now. Let's try to think small and just pay attention to the people that God has put around you and what it looks like for you to respond in kindness and in generosity in these very moments, okay? Now, let me talk to you about ministry heading into this weekend. We have chosen, Coram Church, not to live stream our services. I know other churches are doing that. That's not what we are going to do. Rather, as I've mentioned before, we're going to video a sermon. So there will be a sermon video that you can watch on your laptop or on your TV or whatever. And then our team has been hard at work all week building something I'm really excited about, and we're calling it Living Room Liturgy. What it is it's just a liturgy guide similar to how our service flows on Sunday mornings, or if you ever come to one of our morning prayer gatherings. It's just a liturgy, scripture readings and prayers and confession of sin. And we're going to invite you to do that live in the flesh in your living room with your family or your roommates, or if you feel comfortable inviting 1 or 2 folks over, as long as you keep your group under 10, that's great. You're welcome to do that. So the idea is that we're actually going to gather in living rooms, worship in the flesh together. The only thing that will be sort of via media will be the sermon, okay? And so in that way, we're trying to actually lean into presence in this moment rather than taking in worship passively through a screen. We want to invite you to actively practice worship, reading the scriptures out loud, praying together out loud, confessing your sin together out loud. This is a chance where we get to do that together as families or as small gatherings of people. And so that's how we're going to go forward into this weekend and however many weekends lie ahead of us. I'm excited about that. All of that will go live 6 a.m. Sunday morning at a special page on our website that we've built, cdomaha.com/living room liturgy. All right, so that's where you'll find it. We'll get that stuff all out to you. Those links will be available, so you won't have to go hunting for it. But that's how we're going to choose to gather for worship this weekend and however many weekends we have to do this. So I'm excited about that. It's been fun to build that as a team, and I hope you're excited about it too. Even as I stand here, the bells are ringing, which reminds me God is sovereign, and He is worshipped every moment of every day, no matter what's going on in our lives. So look forward to serving you that way this weekend. I'll try to put another update to you, another daily briefing on Saturday. You won't get one tomorrow, and you won't get one Sunday. So Monday through Thursday, we'll throw in a special one on Saturday. I'll see you then.